This illustration is going to show you why you should focus on one thing at a time. My name is Shelly Hitz, and I'm the creator of Write More, Write Better, a 30-day writing challenge. I'm also the creator of AuthorAudienceAcademy.com. So let's say you have 4 projects. So for me, I've gotten a ton done this year, and a lot of people will ask me, how did you get so much done? I'm just going to take 4 of the major things that I accomplished this year and use it as an illustration for this exercise. So one of the things that I created this year was my book, Procrastination to Publication, as well as an advanced training that goes along with the book for $47. I created that, and I was able to sell that in the beginning of the year. I then created Author Audience Academy. It's my signature program for authors. And I launched my podcast. That was the 3rd thing. And then this 4th thing is I created my 30-day writing challenge. So let's take a look. If you have 4 things that you're doing, let's take option 1. So option 1 is that you're working on all 4 things at the same time. So we have we have A, B, C, and D. So let's say I'm working on A, B, C, and D. And I'm just doing this as an example. My 4 projects all took a different amount of time. But let's say I'm working on everything together, and I devote in month 1 week to A, B, C, and D. It's going to take me, A. It's going to take me down here. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's going to take me down to 9 weeks before I finish my first project. Do you guys see that? It's going to take me that long. This is where I'm going to be able to start making money. Let's say I was working on my procrastination to publication training, and I did, I worked on that and Author Audience Academy and my podcast and the writing challenge. I wouldn't start making any money on anything until 9 weeks. So, we're thinking about, let's say, the next 90 days. Well, let's look at option 2. What if we focused on one thing at a time? Let's say we focused on one project until it was done. And for the sake of illustration, I'm just going to say they all take the same amount of time. So let's just say we have A, B, 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 C, 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 D, D, D. How long does it take me to get my first project done and profitable, start making money? Do you guys see this? After 3 weeks. So I'm able, when I focus on one thing at a time until it's done, I'm able to get it done faster and be able to start earning income quicker. Because, that's the thing. When you're in business, when you're an author, even when you're in ministry, if you have all of these unfinished projects, how many of you have unfinished projects right now on your to-do list? They all just kind of linger out there, and they're not having the impact. They're not reaching your audience with your message. They're not creating income for you. They're just out there lingering. So, if you're thinking, oh, but I have all these great ideas and I want to work on all of them at the same time, it's going to take you a lot longer to finish one of them. Whereas if you have laser focus. If you guys read the book, The One Thing by Gary Keller, it's a great book. When you focus on one thing at a time, that's what I did this year. That's one way I've been able to be successful and get so much done. I focused on the procrastination to publication training. Then I focused on the Author Audience Academy. Then I focused on launching my podcast. And then finally this challenge. Trying to really focus on one major project at a time. Now, that doesn't mean you're going to never have overlap, because there's always some overlap, but I'm talking about where are you spending the majority of your time every day. Because if you're trying to do 5 different things at the same time, I'm guilty of that too, it's going to take you a lot longer to get one thing done. So my encouragement to you is to do one main project at a time. Focus on one main thing until it's done, and then what is the next main project? Because you're going to get momentum faster. I mean, you may even be able to get it done quicker than just the 3 weeks when you're focusing on it all at one time. I have to constantly be reining myself back in because as a typical entrepreneur, as a typical author, I always have a million different ideas. And I want to do the next thing, or I love doing something new. And I really wanted to launch my podcast earlier this year. I wanted to launch it in March. I didn't end up launching it until I think it was July. But the best advice I got this year was to finish my signature program, Author Audience Academy, first, so that I had something to sell before I started marketing with the podcast. I love to give, I love to teach, and so the podcast was on my heart. I really wanted to do it, and yet I held myself back. I reined myself in so that I could finish Author Audience Academy first. I got that advice from Shane and Jocelyn Sams at flippedlifestyle.com. Best advice I got all year. And it really pays off, you know, when you focus on one thing at a time and in the right order. So, you know, what is it that you have right now on your plate? I encourage you to do a brain dump or a brainstorm, or write down what is it that you have going on? What is your A, B, C, and D? What are the different projects you have? And then prioritize them. What is the priority right now? When I launched Procrastination to Publication earlier this year, it became my priority because it was quick, it was easier to get done, and I could immediately start selling something and start bringing in new customers. And so I was able to do that first. And then Author Audience Academy was second because that is my main signature program at this point, and it was the main way I was going to be able to earn income. And for me this year, income has been important, and so that was the second step. The third step was the podcast, being able to share in a different platform with more people. And then for me, I'm just finished the 30-day challenge. There's many times an order when you can do things. How can you focus? You think about a camera and the lens and how you adjust it to focus in on your subject. I want you to just make a few adjustments so you can focus on one main project at a time. Because when you do, you know, again, here it took 9 weeks to finish project A. If you're taking 1 week, you know, if it's, you know, the same amount of time per all 4 projects, here it took 3 weeks. Huge difference. And if you have that focus, you can also get more done in that time. And so I encourage you to try this and see how it works for you as you are working towards your goals, because ultimately I want you to reach more people with your message, to be able to reach your goals and to cross the finish line of whatever project you're working on. And the sooner the better, right? Because then you can reap the benefits.